All right, now this is section two. Thanks again to Plain Jet 42. Uh, the first one I did it was 22 minutes, and I couldn't get it to go up, so I decided to do it in three sections. Second is a story about Joan Baez. Now I don't know how many of you know her. She was had one of the most beautiful voices. Um, she sang unaccompanied by anything for a long, long time. Anyway, she was very well known in the late 60s, early 70s, and I'm sure plenty of you still have heard of her. But um, uh, I think she was married to Tom Hayden, who was in jail at the time because he refused to. He burned his draft card and he refused to show up for when he was supposed to be drafted. So he was at the time of my confrontation with Joan. Uh, she he was in jail, and of course she was a lot of bullshit. She had a great voice, but she was so full of shit. Uh, and then of course she used the fact that he was in jail for draft dodging as one of her headlines, and within months of when he got out of jail, she sought and got a divorce. Good old Joan, but oh boy, could she sing! One of her best one, I guess, is "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot." But she was coming to campus, and now how this works is there's a when you pay your tuition and all other fees, there's a student activity fee, and they would take that student activity fee and they would use it to pay these people to come on campus and perform. A little side chapter. Um, on my recommendation, and it had never been done before in any university in this country and perhaps the world, uh, that I got the people that were in charge of the student activity fee to set $1 aside for one semester only, and that was 17,000 bucks as a fund, so that any student that ever got arrested in Miami on any misdemeanor, anything other than a major felony, instead of having to worry about getting bailed out and all, could show his ID and would be covered by this bail bond program that I set up. Never been done in the history of American academia, but it was happened first at the University of Miami. So it was handy because in those days it really was the cops against you, and it might very well get back to that stage again, the way things are going. But let's get back to Joan Baez. So she was so very well known. She was coming on campus, and I don't know what her pay for the night was. We'll say 6,500 bucks. Who the fuck knows? But it was a decent amount of money. So in those days, I mean that sounds like nothing today, but in those days, many of these groups made their living off of jumping from campus to campus and performing. Um, but part of my job was also I used to write the reviews after after the concerts were done, and I would do some interviews with the people before the concerts when they had an open forum, a questionnaire, or whatever what do I want to say? They would have a news conference before the event, so that was part of my duties as a writer. Uh, uh, Sometime I'd like to dig up the review I wrote when Santana come on campus, but we'll get to that another time. So she's coming on. She's going to give this interview, and then I show up, of course, and she says that this is no longer a campus project. This is going to be a free concert open to the public. All right. Well, it's not the public that's contributing to paying her. It's only these students, and they'd already rented a stadium and provide the microphones and all that setup, which is fairly expensive. Uh, so besides this, my comics. Well, when I wrote the comics, I gave them. They were written for an underground radio station, and they'd play them on full moon when there's a full moon. But I also had a few friends at work that were uh, working in whatever the department is, the communications department, that were going to be major BJs and things, and they worked for a major radio station in Miami, and they took these and did the mixing for them, and then they were allowed to play them once on their radio program. But I had the copyrights to the material and the copyrights to the mixing and all. They did a beautiful job of mixing. So they would play these tapes of mine of the Rocky Marijuana stories between setups, and every time they played one, I'd get 25 bucks. So sometimes they'd play the same tape twice in a night, and I'd get 50 bucks. Yippee doodle. That was big money to me in those days because I was only getting a couple of $1,000s from the university, uh, for my teaching logic to undergraduate students. So uh, it was called a scholarship. Well, it was a scholarship, but if you didn't teach these classes, you didn't get the fucking money. So I don't know how much of a scholarship it was. so anyway, um, I go. Let's cut this as short as I can. I go to the interview, and I said to her, well, if it's going to be a free concert, then I assume you won't receive any remittance for your performing. And of course, she's freaking out and saying, "Oh no, you got to take that up with with my manager." I said, "Well, fuck you. Your manager didn't say it was going to be a free concert. You said it was going to be a free concert." So she says, "Oh no, that's managerial stuff." I said, "Bullshit. Either we're paying the money for this stadium and the microphone, or we're not going to pay the students' activity fee. Shouldn't pay any fucking money for any microphone. You can go down there sing all you want without a microphone, or you can go down on any corner of any street in Liberty City, which was a tough black neighborhood in Miami where cops didn't even go because it was so violent. I said, you can go down, you want to open it to the public, you can go down and sing on the street corner in Liberty City and sing all you want for free. But if the students are going to pay you $6,500 or whatever the fuck they were paying her for the night, then goddamn it, then it's going to be a closed concert and you need a student ID to get in. Well, of course it turned out that it was a closed concert because she wasn't about to give up her pay, but she wouldn't allow him to play my tape, so it cost me 50 fucking bucks, a bitch. So anyway, so that's my Joan Baez. The whole time everybody's saying, "Shut up, Rocky, she's not going to sing it off, you don't shut the fuck up." And so I said, listen, you got a principle, you got to stay by it. If it's a free concert, it's a free concert. But that's part two. Now hang in there, and we'll get to this guy. Thanks for listening.